Scientists just found a hidden ocean, not on Earth, not on Europa, but buried beneath the Martian surface. And the most unsettling part? It was hiding in plain sight, right under the robot we sent to look for it. For years, NASA's Perseverance rover has been rolling across Jezero Crater, collecting dust, drilling rock, and searching for signs of ancient life. This location was chosen deliberately. Billions of years ago, Jezero was a lake. Before that, a river delta. Scientists could see the ghost of that ancient world baked into the landscape: sediment layers, mineral deposits, the skeletal outline of a shoreline long gone. They thought they understood this place. They were wrong. Perseverance carries an instrument called RIMFAX, a ground-penetrating radar that fires signals straight down through the Martian soil. In September 2023, the rover began a new survey of a puzzling geological formation called the Margin Unit, a stretch of rock unusually rich in carbonates and olivine that geologists couldn't quite explain. Over the next 5 months, Perseverance made 78 separate traverses across this region, slowly building a picture of what lay beneath. And what the radar found, more than 35 meters underground, stopped researchers cold. There was another delta down there. Not a hint of one, not a vague suggestion. A full ancient river delta system, completely intact, buried under the one we already knew about. A ghost beneath a ghost. Geomicrobiologist Emily Cardarelli from UCLA, who helped lead the research, described the moment the data came through. The first clear radargram, taken on Sol 909, roughly 2.5 years into the mission, showed that the Margin Unit was more transparent to radar than anything the team had previously encountered. With each new traverse, the signal reached deeper. By Sol 1052, they were seeing complex subsurface features unlike anything in the data record. Layers of rock stretching far below the surface, arranged in sloping, fanning patterns, the unmistakable signature of ancient sediment settling out of flowing water. Think about what that means for a moment. On Earth, a delta forms where a river slows down and drops its sediment load, at the edge of a lake or where a current meets a body of still water. The geometry is distinctive, the physics is predictable. And what RIMFAX found beneath Jezero Crater matched that geometry perfectly. Channel structures, lobe formations, buried boulders, scour marks left by fast-moving current. These are features that only form one way, when water is running in large quantities across a planetary surface. The deposit they found is enormous. By combining radar measurements from across the entire traverse, more than 6 kilometers of data, the researchers estimate the Margin Unit extends at least 85 to 90 meters thick. 90 meters of layered sediment built up over multiple episodes of deposition, with evidence of erosion events sandwiched between them. This isn't a single flood. This isn't a brief wet period. This is geological evidence of repeated, sustained water activity. A river system that came back again and again across an extended span of deep time. Based on the geological context of the wider Jezero system, the team estimates this buried delta was active during the Noachian period, somewhere between 4.2 and 3.7 billion years ago. For context, Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Life on our planet emerged roughly 3.7 billion years ago, possibly earlier. The window of time when this buried Martian delta was alive with flowing water overlaps almost exactly with the window when the first microbial life was establishing itself here on Earth. We are not talking about ancient Mars as some vague, distant abstraction. We are talking about a planet that at the same moment life was beginning on Earth had rivers. The Jezero Delta that Perseverance currently explores, the one visible from orbit, the one that drew scientists to this crater in the first place, dates to the late Noachian and early Hesperian. The newly discovered buried delta is older, significantly so. This means the history of water at Jezero doesn't simply extend back to 3.7 billion years ago. It extends beyond that. The crater was wet before we thought it was wet. Life, if it ever existed there, had more time than we gave it. And here is where the implications get genuinely staggering. The key argument against life on Mars has always been time. Mars dried out, the atmosphere thinned, the magnetic field collapsed. Whatever water existed evaporated, froze, or was lost to space. The window was too short, critics said, for complex biochemistry to get started. But every new discovery at Jezero pushes back against that argument. More water, more time, more layers, more episodes. The timeline of Martian habitability isn't shrinking, it keeps expanding. There is another dimension to this discovery that researchers are careful to highlight. On Earth, when sediment settles at the bottom of a river delta, it doesn't just preserve the shape of the water, it preserves chemistry. Mineral compositions, isotope ratios, organic compounds, if any were present. The fine-scale internal structures that RIMFAX has begun to reveal in the margin unit could, in theory, be preserving the chemical fingerprints of water events that happened 4 billion years ago. If life ever metabolized in those waters, the sediment layers could be holding the molecular record of it. Perseverance is not just an explorer, it is driving across an archive. This also reframes the samples Perseverance has been collecting. The rover has been carefully caching rock cores for eventual return to Earth, part of the Mars sample return mission that will, if all goes to plan, bring Martian material to laboratories here for the first time. Scientists will be able to date those samples with precision, analyze their chemistry in detail, search for biosignatures that no instrument on a rover can detect. The discovery of this buried delta doesn't just add context to those samples, it changes the kinds of questions we know to ask of them. We now know the sediment history of Jezero Crater is deeper and richer than we believed. Back on the surface, Perseverance continues its slow, methodical work. It doesn't know what it has found. It doesn't know that the measurements it took between September 2023 and February 2024 have altered humanity's picture of a planet 400 million kilometers away. It just drives. It just measures. Every few meters, the RIMFAX instrument fires another pulse of radar energy into the ground and listens for the echo. And somewhere in that echo, buried under nearly 100 meters of ancient Martian rock, the remains of a river that once carried water across a living world waits patiently for someone to come and read it properly. Mars wasn't always dead. We know that now with more certainty than ever. What we still don't know, what no radar and no rover has yet been able to answer, is whether anything was alive in those rivers when they ran. Was there something, even something microscopic, drifting in those ancient Martian currents 4 billion years ago? And if there was, where did it go? Drop your answer in the comments, because honestly, I'm not sure science has one yet.